Pregame.com.
I don't know how it gets any more exciting for the Oakland Raiders than last week's 15-0 win over Kansas City. But here they go on the road to Carolina, where the Panthers are laying 8, total of 46 as we speak. And Bryan, it seemed like each week for much of the season we were putting another check in the Carolina Panther loss column, but we were also saying this is the best blah, blah, blah team there is, the best losing team in the NFL. But now over the last month or so, Cam Newton has really got it together. He's put this offense on his shoulders. They've won 2 in a row and 3 of 4.
It's all a confidence issue with Newton. If you remember, when they weren't playing well, he had his head down. He didn't want to come to the press conferences. Now you could tell by the way he's playing. He's very confident. And you mentioned the way he's been playing as of late. And 4 of the last 5 games, Newton's averaged over 8 yards per pass attempt, which is really high. I mean, he's in his zone right now. And as you mentioned with Oakland, 15-0 winner last week, but you go back the last 6 weeks, they've been outscored 173-92, including shutting somebody out last week.
I'll tell you what, Marco, the Raiders win that game 15-0. They've scored a grand total of 72 points in their last 5 games. That's an average of 14.4 points per game. They've been unable to top 17 points even once over that time span. They've allowed 34 or more points in 4 of their last 6 road games, scoring 14, allowing 34. I'm no math major, but that doesn't add up in the win column too often. No. That's what Oakland has to work with, you know.
No, it doesn't. And, going back to the Carolina, and, they've won 3 of the last 4. The one game that they lost, we should point out, it was that emotional game going to Kansas City, after the tragedy on Saturday. So Kansas City was sky high that day. So you can give them a wash on that. And how many times, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but, I've been doing this forever. I'm a dinosaur. But it seems to me every year there's 1 or 2 teams that were bad most of the year, and then they catch fire those last, 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Then we all start talking about them for next year. And remember last year, it was Arizona, how they finished the season. They started the season bad, and, they go on the winning streak. You got to look at Carolina. They're that hot team this year. They got it together. And, I can't argue with anything you two guys are saying. This is a game that, I know last week they pitched a shutout, but if you look at the Oakland Raiders, they haven't been pitching shutouts. You look at their previous games, 26 points to Denver, 20 to Cleveland, who doesn't score a lot of points, 34 to Cincy, 38 to New Orleans, 55 to Baltimore, and 42 to Tampa. It could be a long day for Oakland.
I'm watching a little bit of that Oakland-Kansas City game because I like punishment sometimes. And I had no action in the game, but I kept landing on it because there was a pigeon at midfield. I don't know if you guys saw it. Seriously, I'm not kidding. There was a pigeon at midfield, and not only were the fans focused on it, it wasn't scared of either team. It would not move.
Would you be?
They had like 5 or 6 plays in a row from both teams after a punt and everything where they were near, like in between the 40s, both teams. And they're running around. The receivers are going out for routes. The defenders are covered. And the pigeon didn't even move. It was like underneath the footsteps. It didn't care. It knew that neither team could deliver a bone-crushing blow, I guess. But anyway, one of these teams has to win. I've been a Carolina fan all season long. I just thought, they kept coming up on the wrong side of close games, which was the truth. I mean, most of their games, all but 2, were right down to the wire for the most part. So here they have caught a little bit of fire, as you said. And we know Oakland stinks on ice. We know Cam Newton's playing great football over the last few weeks. Can we trust them laying this many points? Bryan, this one is your best bet.
I'm going to lay the points for Carolina here. You see this in-depth information you get here? Pigeons. Oakland's pitching. I think Oakland's been pitching in Coors Field, the defense at least, all season long. It's a team right now. Oakland has to travel all the way back east after this game. The unfortunate part was that Carolina was just on the West Coast, too, so I think that limits the differential there for Carolina. But even though I like Carolina in the game, I think the best way to play this game, at least now, is to play it as a teaser until it gets to 9. Carolina's going to win this game. Oakland playing in the early time zone back east. It's obviously a game that historically they're not going to play very well in. Carolina's putting a lot of points on the board, as we talked about. I like a -8. I like them better with a teaser.
We got a new stat. How do teams do coming off a pigeon game? But anyway, we'll find out. It was kind of funny because it was as quiet as it gets in that game, not only from the teams but the fans. When they finally got the pigeon into a bucket and moved it, everybody in the crowd was booing. I don't know that they had to cheer or boo for all game long. Anyway, when we come back, we got the Bears and the Cardinals. It's Marco's best bet. Stick around for more right here at pregame.tv.